Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nexus, where we spotlight some of our favorite local businesses. Today I have a really special guest. This is my friend Rick Kment. He's the owner of Thrive Business Consulting. Welcome to the show, Rick.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's always nice to have a friend and a friendly face. So I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to come in.
I do. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And thanks for having me. I mean, just from watching in the past, it's like it's one of those things like, oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, you got to be on the show. So any of you out there, if you haven't been on the show yet, reach out to us and we'll get you a slot. So anyways, I'm excited for everyone to hear more about what you do. We've had the benefit of having you as business coach, and I've always gotten a lot of value out of the time that I spend with you. But first, we should probably start from the beginning, a little bit more
That's
about
a long story.
where.
I'm not that young.
Okay, hold on to your seats. Well, tell us a little bit about where you came from, like where you're from, and how you got here.
I live in here in Lincoln, and been here for over 20 years. My wife and I met here and raised family. She's a medical provider in town, and but originally I'm from northeast Nebraska, and grew up there and really focused in just small business and agriculture, and kind of that whole realm has been a huge part of my life. And so then I've worked with small business owners pretty much and also owned several small businesses along the way. But focusing on the opportunity to help those I work with grow and become more profitable. And that just has continued to grow and develop. I also spent probably almost 20 years of my career working in corporate America, working for, started with Senex Land O'Lakes in the ag service industry, and then was a market analyst for DTN. It's an ag market information company based out of Omaha, writing commentary, kind of focusing on giving real-time, meaningful advice to some of their 70,000 subscribers. And so that's been a great opportunity to really create content, develop there, but still keep complicated matters simple.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I have really loved to do is, I mean, business, as all of you know, business can be very complicated. But how do we break it down into the simple matters and take it one step at a time?
Yeah. What I've always really appreciated about our conversations is, you know, you can learn a lot from the numbers, and with your background and data analysis and all that stuff, you're really able to bring shine a different light on the financial statements and where areas for improvement can be found. Is that the kind of degree that you got?
Actually, I had my bachelor's degree was an animal science degree. And then I went, what brought me back to Lincoln was to attain my MBA. So I have an MBA in emphasis in organizational and leadership development. So that's really where my realm of helping to develop others to kind of be the best business and best leaders that they can be has really come from. But by nature, I'm very analytical, and so really focusing on the numbers. But I have really honed the ability and focused on the idea of how to take those analytical skills and turn them into day-to-day activities, and what is the meaning of it from today, and how does that make your business stronger using those numbers.
Well, I like to say that True North Technologies is my MBA.
And that's the thing, is like experience is the best education.
True, but there's a lot that you can learn. There's part of me that wishes I would have went on and got an MBA, but
there's still time.
I couldn't put myself through any more school. Like, as much as I liked it, it just was. When I was done, I was done.
Yeah,
so good for you.
And honestly, that was probably one of the hardest things that. I mean, I love the academic world, but it was really hard for me because I was out of school for 9 to 10 years, and then went back full time to school, and so get back into that mindset of how to study, how to kind of take an academic approach when you're in the field working with businesses day to day, and kind of having that approach in business, because an example is that in academia, a lot of times there's a right answer and there's a wrong answer.
Right.
And as you know, and as viewers, you know too, there's some in real life or in the applicable business setting, there are many different ways to really help to develop and grow. So it's not necessarily a right or wrong, but there's many paths to the same destination.
Yeah. Well, and I think you mentioned that you have a family. Did you have kids when you were getting that degree?
Actually, that was before I got married. We got married, or I actually graduated the morning or the day before our wedding.
Oh,
and
cool.
So,
what a big weekend.
But yeah, talk about a stressful week. I mean, between finals and graduation and wedding and everything else. It's like, it was kind of a crazy week.
Beginning of the rest of your life.
It was the beginning of the rest of my life. And so,
that's exciting.
So, yeah.
Well, you have a great wife. I love Jackie.
Yeah, Jackie is amazing. And
Yeah.
and honestly, her business that she started 6 years ago is pretty much one of the main reasons why I had a heart to really dive into this and do this full time, helping businesses thrive, if you will, but to grow and become more profitable.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about that, just kind of your experience in watching kind of the ups and downs for Jackie as she started
Sure.
her business.
My wife.
Or maybe what you learned from it, maybe.
I learned a lot, and she learned a lot.
We all learned a lot.
My wife is Jackie Kment, for some of you that might be watching. She owns Integrity Dermatology. She was a dermatology PA and provider for another practice here in Lincoln for 20 years. And then just through kind of some soul searching and just kind of, she really felt that she needed to move on. And she was had no intention and really has no interest in owning a business. And so then after a while, I was like, hey, how about you kind of open your own practice and kind of get the help? And pretty much her words for me were, are you daft? It's like, we don't know anything about owning and operating a medical practice. It's like, well, I mean, we can learn. So I'm kind of the business side of it, and she's the medical practitioner kind of day-to-day activity side, which, I mean, she's amazing at what she does. So together,
and you helps her focus on that. That's the whole point of coaching, really. Is
so it's just, but through that process, I really realized, or we really realized, there's very little support out there for small businesses, especially support that you can afford. And so there's my focus then, as really helping to develop and grow her business, was focusing on the idea of how do we create simple but broadening and comprehensive support from an operational perspective that can be relatable to positive income, revenue, company growth, and pretty much because every business owner has ideas of what they want their business to be like, but especially in small business, it becomes very individualized, because, and I'm sure as you know, with True Note Technologies, your business is different because you have different values and different things that you find success in than maybe someone across the country that might do the same, provide the same services. But what makes you unique and you, your business, the best option for your clients is the fact that your heart and soul is in it. And that was the main driver that really allowed me to really focus on how can I bring that to so many of these small businesses, especially in, not only in Lincoln, but in the Midwest.
And I can see that in you, like you have a genuine curiosity and you know, your desire to help people really kind of comes through. And I think we had gone just to coffee and you had learned a lot about my company and, you know, the good, the bad, the ugly beforehand, you know, and your natural interest in what we were doing, you know, was great because I felt comfortable telling you, just shooting you straight and hearing what you had to say. And I love your advice usually.
and that's the benefit of it is as I build a relationship with my clients. I mean, part of my job is asking the hard questions.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons for creating success is the ability to ask those questions that in some ways business owners or managers might not want to answer. And really focus on that. But I mean, that's one of the ways that kind of helps people grow. I mean, as you know, just business is very similar to exercising or mental strength or anything like that. You really need to be challenged and to have things that really help you to develop. Otherwise, you kind of stay where you're at.
Right, and really getting specific on those goals, you know, like, it's easy to kind of say some things in general terms, like how are we going to actually get to that spot? I'm a futuristic person, you know that pretty well. So it's just hard for me to like make the steps, you know, 1 through 7. I can see 8, 9, and 10.
And that's one of the other benefits and things that I've really realized as I've been doing this over the last 2 years is the fact that one of the things that I bring to the table is just an objective third-party view.
Yeah.
And which is very hard for some business owners because who else do a lot of business owners have to talk about and have that objectivity from?
It's a sounding board.
It's a sounding board, but it's also have you thought of that? Because so many times, many of these business decisions are all in-house. And it's people that are working on the same projects, that are working together day to day, and which is great, but at the same time is like, there's also a mentality that, okay, this is how we're gonna do it. And this is how we've always done it. And that kind of limits growth.
Right. That kind of made me curious if you can come up with somewhat of a specific example of a business that had, a particular struggle that they were going through and maybe how you helped them navigate that and kind of the
Sure. One of the businesses I've worked with and they were actually the leading business in their industry, but they were kind of stagnant growth. They were and it was an existing business of over 20 years, but the growth was kind of limited, and they were really focusing on 3 different main focuses of their product services area, and really working with them as far as, okay, what is the highest demand product, and we kind of worked through a process to kind of shift their area into kind of what I call before it was their secondary target market, and kind of looking at the growing demand of how things have changed over the last couple of years to really help to grow that. That business has tripled in revenue over the last 2 years, and has continued to grow with staffing and just continuing to work in order to really help their business grow. But in the meantime, there's less stress. There's the opportunity to really create significant incomes and job opportunities for many of their staff.
Yeah, that's exciting. That's the kind of the fun stuff to work on.
That is, and that's really what keeps me going day to day. I mean, I love working with my clients and just helping see the successes and the opportunities of helping them them knowing that they have
Mhm.
someone on their side helping walk them through the challenges that they might have on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. What do you think is, something that, small, medium-sized business owners, what's something that you think is like overlooked that people should either spend more time on or something that you think is really valuable, like resource, something that people should know?
I think, and this is part of my approach, there's two things. One of them is, I think, especially for small business owners, it really is very important that you understand what success means to you.
Mm-hmm.
Because success means something different to every one of us.
Yeah.
And some of us, it's the dollar amount we can generate from the business. Some of us is the time off. Some of it is the opportunities we have to spend with family and friends. Some of it is just opportunity to retire at a certain age. And so just knowing what that is for you
Mm-hmm.
as a small business owner is huge, because that helps direct your path
Yeah.
and focus on that, make sure that you are chasing the opportunities that you want rather than what culture and other business owners say that you should do.
Right.
The second one is really looking at it from a end view approach, as far as, okay, what's my exit strategy, if you will. Not saying everybody's going to try to look at an exit strategy, but you have some 40-year-old tradesman do they want to be working till they're 85, 90 years old? Do they want to retire when they're 65 years old or 60 or sell the business? And kind of, if they have that mentality going into the business, it really helps them to create a foundation and a game plan for the next 1 year, 3 years, 10 years, 20 years of their business. And that really helps.
Those first years, you're just kind of in the thick of things. You're just really trying to figure it out, and that's exciting and its own challenge, and it makes it, worth doing. But then you're right. Sometimes people get to a certain point and it's functioning and it's going fairly well. There's always the day to day, but coming up with that end goal, that does give you something to strive for again and kind of renews that.
And to make sure you're on target.
Yeah.
One of the sad factors of small businesses is the fact that 70% of businesses fail in the first 10 years.
Yes.
And that is very humbling and challenging, and one of the reasons for that is just the lack of support.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another reason why I've found that it's so rewarding to do what I do, to really help to develop and grow that support for these small businesses.
Yeah. What's your ideal kind of client look like?
My ideal kind of client is a small business that is committed and focused on continuing to grow. Whether grow just location, and that can be individualized by the business. And I have a customizable approach to really, I don't have a cookie cutter approach that fits with any business, which I think is very unique for what I do. And it's really helped me to kind of meet the needs of each business owner so that they can really create the best business that they want to create.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's one of the things I enjoyed working with you. Yeah, you understand the theories of, numerous models, but just kind of in that moment, whatever it is that you're working on, pulling out the right tool from the toolbox to kind of help that business owner.
And helping make each of those tools very practical for the day-to-day application.
Yeah. Well, this has been fun because I got to ask all the questions today.
It feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah. What else do I really want to know? Yeah, I always just feel like, just getting asked all these things I don't want to deal with, my Enneagram 7. Rick just pokes the bear.
Yeah, but I mean,
But it's good. You help people
Yeah.
face and, you know, deal with those things that need
I mean,
to be dealt with.
I'm so honored. It's an amazing opportunity to work with you, and I mean, well, you and other great business leaders. That is just, I mean, so many times business owners kind of don't understand the opportunities that they have and the impact they're having, not only on their customers but the employees and everything else.
Yeah.
And I mean, small business owners are heroes.
Oh, that's so sweet.
You deserve it.
Well, one thing I really enjoyed working with you is, I think my purpose and my reason for doing what I do isn't necessarily the bottom line, but you know, the finance side of my brain, the practical side of myself, it always seemed like it should be that. But my time working with you, I really got the freedom to say what was really the purpose behind what I was doing, and it wasn't the bottom line.
And that feels
so
really good, doesn't it?
It feels really good just to have that, the luxury of, you know, being able to like be comfortable in that, and you know, like having that clearly communicated with my team, and I think that was the most valuable thing for me that I learned, and I want that for other business owners too, because you do feel that pressure from external sources, you know, that you should be doing this because of these reasons, and that
Just
might not
because
be
everybody
why.
else is.
Yeah, and I've really never lived my life like that, and most entrepreneurs really have done things differently. So, so it's really been fun to be able to say those things out loud and be proud of it and make plans accordingly. So, any final thoughts for our viewers?
Oh, thank you so much for viewing. I just
Thanks
have
for
an
tuning in.
opportunity to just get to know more and more people in Eastern Nebraska.
Yeah, so if you've been considering coaching, I would definitely recommend Rick. He's been a great, tremendous help to our organization. He is very personable. He will make you do things you don't want to do, but he's also willing to hear no. There's plenty of times that I was like, I'm probably not going to do that, Rick. So I've always been a big proponent for having a business coach, and if you are a business owner and been thinking about doing that, it's always worth a call, maybe having coffee with Rick just to see how that would look. So there's my shameless plug for you.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you in a few weeks. Bye.